Real Madrid have done it again. The kings of Europe reign supreme and walk out of Wembley with Champions League number 15. Unreal. The football heritage speaks for itself. And honestly, I don't know how anybody doesn't agree that Real Madrid are the greatest club in football history. There is no doubt. There is no argument. They are. They just are. I'm not a Madrid fan. I'm a United fan. But they are. I respect this team so much because of what they've accomplished on the continent, and they just keep on doing more. They just keep on adding to what is already a superb legacy. And shout out to Borussia Dortmund, right? Shout out. I got to give them their flowers because one, I didn't expect them to make it this far in the competition, and two, I didn't expect them to play as well as they did in the final. They definitely were in that game for about an hour and a half, right? They genuinely were. They were in that game up until Carvajal scored that goal. And even then, I thought they were still in the game. It was the second goal that really just killed it for me, where they made a mistake and gave the ball to Vinny, and Vinny doing Vinny-type things in a final when the lights are on and the lights are shining at their brightest. Vinny Jr. steps up. Shout out to him. But Dortmund, I got to give them their flowers because their game plan almost worked. Keyword almost. You know, they weren't clinical enough. But that first 60 minutes, right, the first 15 minutes of the second half and the first 45 minutes of the game, they were really, really good. I think where Dortmund let themselves down was in the final third. There was a moment in the game where they had a 5v3. And I can't remember if it was Sancho or Emre Can who was on the right wing. But whoever it was, they should not have switched that ball across. They should have kept it in the middle, keep your options open, and get as close to the box as possible before you make a decision. They didn't. They rushed. They panicked. And they did this time and time again throughout the game. It felt like Dortmund players, whether it's Sancho, Brent, or Adeyemi, were either waiting too long to make a pass or made a pass too soon. They just couldn't find the right moment to release that ball into the final third and to try catch Real Madrid off guard. And the few times that they did, there was no finish. Adeyemi, unfortunately, came closest to scoring when he literally got past Courtois, but it was a dead touch. He pushed it too wide. You know, he actually got past Courtois and there was no one between him and the goal, but unfortunately he lost control of the ball and gave Real Madrid enough time to recover. And that was the moment where I was like, yeah, Real Madrid are winning this game. Yeah, they're winning this game. They're coming back in the second half. They're not even going to play that well. They're going to wait till the last 20 minutes of the game and they're going to score. And it's funny because even in the game I tweeted, like, somebody was like, when do you think Real Madrid are going to score? And this was at halftime. I was like, they're going to score in the 76th minute. And they ended up scoring, I believe, in the 73rd or 74th minute, right? So, I mean, it's so predictable. It's so predictable. And we've got to talk about this man, Don Carlo, who's won a record 5 Champions Leagues. And I believe is the only manager on the planet to reach 6 Champions League finals, right? We all know what happened in 06. Unfortunately, that was Don Carlo's biggest L, where I believe AC Milan were 3-0 up and ended up losing to Liverpool, which was just a crazy final. That is the only time Don Carlo has lost in a Champions League final. Since then, he's won every single one. And before then, he's won every single one. And I think we have to start having conversations about Don Carlo because there's been a lot of debate about Pep Guardiola and Sir Alex Ferguson. Has Pep Guardiola overtaken Sir Alex Ferguson's legacy with the four-peat? Has Pep Guardiola overtaken Sir Alex Ferguson's legacy by doing 2 trebles, one at different clubs, right, with Barcelona and Man City? It's been a lot of talk about the GOAT debate, right? And I respect both those managers. Obviously, as a United fan, I idolized Sir Alex growing up. But as a modern football fan, I have so much respect for Pep Guardiola, even though he manages a rival team. I genuinely have the utmost respect for him because I think he's a brilliant manager. But then there's Don Carlo, who I think, honestly, I wouldn't argue or disagree with anybody who says he's better than both of them. Because this guy's legacy in the Champions League is unreal. And don't forget, this guy's also won a league title in every one of the top 5 leagues, which no other manager has done. If anybody said that Don Carlo is the GOAT, the undisputed GOAT, what is your counter argument? There is no counter argument because the only thing you could say is that he's never done a treble and he's never done a three-peat because he's never been at a club long enough to actually accomplish those things. I would say, does that really matter though when you've won 5 Champions Leagues? I mean, the whole point of doing a treble and doing a three-peat is that you are sustaining long-term success at domestic level because you're winning a league multiple times and you're establishing dominance at domestic level. But is it not more impressive to establish dominance at continental level? I know people have fundamental disagreements about what's harder, the Champions League or the Premier League, the Champions League or the La Liga, the Champions League or this league or that league. Personally, I think the Champions League is the most prestigious club competition on the planet. And I think it's actually harder to sustain long-term success in the Champions League. People will say it's luck of the draw, it's this, it's that. You telling me Carlo Ancelotti's got lucky in 5 out of 6 finals, and that's what he's won. And that's why he's won. Yeah, okay, it's just luck. Don Carlo's not a good manager. It's just luck. He's won 5 Champions Leagues just by luck. Zidane, 3 Champions Leagues in a row. That's just luck. That's just luck. It doesn't make sense to me. It genuinely doesn't make sense to me, because when we talk about Sir Alex and we talk about Pep Guardiola and we talk about Jose Mourinho, we laud the fact that they were able to win a Champions League. We love the fact that Jose was able to win the Champions League with Porto. How come that wasn't luck? We love the fact that Sir Alex was able to do it in 99. How come that wasn't luck? We love the fact that, Man City fans love the fact that Pep Guardiola was able to do it recently. How come that wasn't luck? But when it's Don Carlo, suddenly it's luck. I fundamentally disagree with these people. I think that the UCL is the most prestigious trophy in club football, period. And I think Don Carlo has the best legacy in the UCL. And on top of what he's achieved at club level and at domestic level with every team that he's managed, I don't have a problem with somebody saying he's the greatest of all time. I genuinely don't, because I can't argue against it. I think that this man deserves respect. He deserves respect. That's all I'm saying. He deserves respect. And so too do those Real Madrid players, by the way. Well done to Vinicius Jr. I rate Vinicius Jr. so highly. He's the main reason why I watch this Real Madrid team, and he's the main reason why I even pay attention to La Liga football these days, because he's such an exciting talent. And it pisses me off when Premier League fans compare Premier League wingers to Vinicius Jr., because for me, he's clear of all of them. Whether you're talking about Mo Salah, whether you're talking about Saka, whether you're talking about Rashford, whoever you want to talk about, Vinny's better than them. Not just talent-wise, but in terms of mentality. He has that insatiable drive to win, and more importantly, he announces himself in the big games. Forget the games against teams that you're expected to beat. Forget the games against teams in your own domestic country. Can you do it on a Champions League night when your team isn't playing well? Can you do it when you're getting battered against Manchester City and you're on the ropes and you need a moment of magic? You need someone to just grab the game by the scruff of the neck and make a marauding run down the left wing and just make shit happen. When your team doesn't deserve to win, when your team has no right to go to the next round, that player just shows up and silences an entire stadium. That's Vinny Jr. That is Vinny Jr. The real star boy. The real star boy. None of this Rashford nonsense. None of this Saka nonsense. None of this Mo Salah nonsense. Vinny's the guy. Vinny is the guy, But yeah, it's interesting to see all of these new Real Madrid young stars announcing themselves as the likes of Kroos and Modric move on. I mean, Modric will still be playing next season, but, he's not a regular starter anymore. You've now got that midfield of Camavinga, Bellingham, Valverde, and it's going to be interesting to see who else joins it. I imagine Bellingham will drop deeper with the arrival of Kylian Mbappe. I imagine we'll see a front three of Vinny, Mbappe, and Rodrigo next season, and then a midfield of Bellingham, Camavinga, and I'm not sure if Valverde will be that guy in the midfield. I think Real Madrid have got a question mark around who they want to play in their midfield three, and it will be interesting to see if Don Carlo sticks with his famous 4-4-2 diamond, or if he switches things up a little bit. I think he'll switch things up, because how can you not? You have to accommodate Kylian Mbappe. And I don't think he's going to drop Rodrigo, because he seems to like Rodrigo and he seems to love Vinny Jr. So I think he's going to find a way to make it work with those three. But, that's a topic for another video. Shout out to Real Madrid, Champions League number 15. Shout out to Don Carlo, more importantly, Champions League number 5. Unreal football manager. He deserves so much respect. As soon as he started downing those mints, I was like, yeah, it's over for Borussia Dortmund. All he needs to do is this and the game's over. All he needs to do is this and the game's over. I knew it was over. I knew it was over.